everybody. Jim from Jim's Holiest of Coleus. Hope happy Mother's Day to everybody. Belated Mother's Day. Mother's Day has always been an interesting time for me as a boy because I was born May 13th, which is always Mother's Day weekend. So we always had a big Mother's Day celebration, and my birthday was kind of thrown in together with it. But I didn't mind so much because my father we used to go to this hotel that had big ice sculptures, and I used to think it was all for me, and it was like magical. I was like, wow, this is amazing, what a birthday party, because it was Mother's Day and my birthday party. So happy Mother's Day to all. Busy day getting my son ready to go to Italy. My son has an externship or internship to Italy as a chef, so we're getting ready for him to go to 2 weeks, taking care of my plants. So I'm running on all 16 cylinders here, but I need to get my plants out on the table. I'm going to go over everything real quick. I'm going to do some potting today. I'm going to try to see if I can shoot a video on potting, but if you're following along, you have a good idea on how to pot anyway. And if you do have any questions, feel free to shoot me one here on an Instagram. Again, there's so many different Coleus here, and I'll go over some while I go over some of the pots that I'm going to be creating. I got some really nice small hanging baskets I ordered on Amazon, so they're pretty neat. They're kind of small, 5-inch, 6-inch. They're really 5-inch hanging baskets, but I think they're going to work out well because they're perfect for Coleus. So I like smaller items. I can bring more. It's easier to pack in and out when I head to the farmer's market, even though it's up the street. But anyway, as always, enough chatter. Let's get to the Coleus and just check out these beautiful just the growth already and the colors. And now I'm just starting to feed it a little bit of Miracle Grow, liquid fertilizer, just enough, not a lot, because I have some fertilizer mixed into the soil, but I still, certain size, they really they benefit from that fertilizer. So okay, let's go take a look. Okay, this is just a small portion of some of the pots that I did last week. At this point now, the ones that are potted, I am trimming. Not necessarily this one here. This one here looks like we're getting a seed stalk already, so we're going to snip that. If you do see seed stalks starting to grow in, they can come in as early. It doesn't matter, just snip it. But no, actually that's not a seed stalk, that's just a new leaf. Again, they grow 2 by 2 by 2, so we're going to let that go. But certain ones I'm going to show you need trimming. So I'm putting everything out on the table. I'm really reorganizing. I'm constantly reorganizing because I'm looking at everything that I have and which ones will be best suited for pots and what pots and so forth and type. Again, here's some metal pots. Again, if you're going to get metal pots, I really like these, but the thing is with the metal pots, you have to be careful, and that these are not full sun Coleus. You don't want metal pots in direct sun because the sun's going to overheat the roots because of the metal pot. So, but these are generally Coleus that will stay in bright light, but not direct sun. And these are more of the gentle. This is a Christmas candy, a wizard rose, more wizard rose. That's another metal. That is a fairway mosaic. You can see the difference. They're very similar, but these are coming along nicely. May trim a little bit here. We'll see what happens. I generally, if I see a Coleus that's pretty full and not tall, then I don't trim necessarily, unless I see something like that. That leaf looks a little crunched. Looks a little, doesn't look that good, so I'm going to trim that off. If you see anything that's has insect damage or stained or ripped, then cut it. Other than that, if it looks good, let it grow. When it starts getting a little too tall, then trim. You can see here, I trimmed and you want to get that bottom growth, and by trimming it really will kick in once the warm weather kicks in. Today's in the 70s, overcast, perfect day to get out here. There's no wind, so I really wanted to get out today. Here's a whole bunch that I just trimmed. You can see some of the larger leaves, a lot of trimming here, and it's early yet, and the benefits really outweigh the fact that you have to cut these beautiful leaves. You see all that growth coming in. Some jitters. Jitters are always really full, but they do. Here's one over here. It's a darker color that's got very tall, so I just snipped the top. I took about 1.5 inches off. So again, you got maybe some leaves that feel dry or they damaged, discolored. Trim them. Look underneath. If you see a lot of growth coming in, then start trimming. There's just the very top sets coming in. You can see here a lot of growth coming in on the bottom. So these we're gonna trim as much as I'd hate to do it. And that's going to benefit the Coleus so much because we got all that growth coming in. And some of them are a little more delicate. There's another one with a lot of growth up top, and I already trimmed this. I may take these 2 leaves. If you see a Coleus kind of, I mean, they're gonna, the way they pot sometimes, if I don't transplant them deep enough, they're too shallow and they way over. Then I'll trim, but I do expect to repot most of these. And here's a bunch that I either potted. There's an old Saturn, a trimming, a cutting off of this. This is that Saturn rings. You can see all that new growth coming in. See how it's starting to get that rich color back. And this was an overwintered Coleus. And I'm going to put this into another pot, a bigger pot. I haven't decided yet. That's on the list. And here is that overwintered Wizard Rose that I took a number of rootings from. There's one root, that's one of the branches that I rooted. There's another one. And I know I have another one somewhere. But this was just a good size Coleus to cut rootings and create other pots with. And I did manage to finally find these window box planters at the Dollar General, and they're they're $1.25 now. Look at that. See, it's starting to get a little brown, so we're gonna have to watch that. I'm gonna trim that probably. And it's okay because look at all that growth coming in. So we're going to trim these, just these for now, and let that undergrowth come in, because these have a lot of growing to do. And I always make these up every year. I'll put 2 or 3. These are pretty big Kong Reds, Empire. So I decided just to put 2 in here. And these are going to be just beautiful. And these always go. I always sell these, because people see them, boom. So beautiful Kong Coleus. Okay, so now here are those hanging baskets that I told you about. How they're small. And let me put them next to another one I have here, just so you get an idea scale. This one here on the right is a 8-inch. Actually, no, that's a 10. That's a 10 left over. And I generally have found that the large ones, I did grow a few 12s last few years ago, 14s, and they didn't really go. Hanging baskets didn't go, so I figured, I saw these, I'm like, you know what? And they were reasonably priced and very easy to put together, and they use very little soil. So, and they're an interesting color, sort of they sort of look in person, they have like a light, very light blue, white. I'm a terrible judge of color sometimes, but blue-gray. But I'm sure the Coleus are going to look fabulous. And here's hanging basket that I created, and I have these little hanging tins here. And these are just all ideas for you, and I get these at the Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar General. These, I'm sorry, the hanging baskets, these tins I got on eBay. You may get them on Amazon. Just search colored metal tin planters, hangers, and they're interesting. All right, here's the other side of the table. Here's that overwintered Saturn's rings. And like I said, you can see, look at that rich color coming in now. This is going to be such a fabulous, this is almost now a Coleus tree, because the base is like a bark. It's almost like a tree now. So, and you can see how I'm going to show you in a minute, the seeds that I got from this are just like this. See how they have some dark purple? But they will grow, they will develop the green in the center. Sort of like a Yorkie. Speaking of how the Yorkies are born black, and then as they get older, they lighten up and so forth. So it's so true with some of these Coleus plants here. It's an interesting analogy I threw in there. So a lot of these are set, and these are Coleus that I will be selling at the farmer's market. And I have so many of these Wizard Rose now because I did grow an additional 75. So I'm just doing a little something different. I have the small tins I decided to put them in. There's a crimson gold. And I put a double. See how these do here. And I put 3 in here. See how these do. They should look really beautiful. So again, these can be a little difficult to grow. Very careful not to overwater them and not let them bake in direct sun. I keep them in a bright area of my greenhouse, but I'm careful with the water and the fertilizer too. They're just very delicate. Their roots they're just a delicate Coleus I found over the years. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. That's why I grew 75 of them. Some of them are growing a little faster than others, so that's good. But I love the color. Okay, here we are in the greenhouse. And I had all these. These are still the Wizard Rose that are the little youngsters. Look at the color on those. And again, every one that I planted has germinated, and they all look good. So, and I think because of my trial and error over the years, I've learned what seems to work with these, and that is they don't like the bright sunlight, and they don't like a lot of water. And you can see that one's a little cold. It's a little chilly out. I just put a sweatshirt on. So, but they're back in here, and I actually moved them. That's another reason why I like to take everything out of the greenhouse, is I moved everything. Here are the fairway mosaics, and again, another one that were a little difficult to grow, or similar to the Wizard Rose. They were just they're just delicate, I found, to get going. But this is a good crop so far. It's a better crop this year. Last year was a disaster. Just wrote last year off, but this is a much better year. So now again, these were over here in the far side of my greenhouse. And if you remember, these jades were over here. So I move everything around. Again, the Wizard Rose were on this side. And now I'm going to put all my pots here and make sure everything is watered, fed, trimmed. I'm going to do some potting today. as much as I can. I need to get some sleep because I feel like I'm going to fall down. So anyway, here are the duds. So I did move the duds from down here to up here. I trimmed them. And the duds are, again, there's still some beautiful. There's an electric lime. Electric lime sport. There you go, Sherry. Electric lime sport. I remember now. Okay, electric lime sport was is a rooting that my friend Sherry from Canada sent me through the mail. Electric lime sport, and I know I have it out here somewhere. Of course, I don't have it labeled, but that's an electric lime. But these will be, I call them the duds, as you know, not that one. But I've been trimming these, and I will bring these in trays at the farmer's market, and I just sell them for $1. They're sort of my grab and go filler, and people love them. They just take them. Sometimes one lady one year just took a whole tray, so which is good for me. It's why I'm doing this. I'm not growing all these from the stay here. I'm growing them for people to enjoy and plant them and have fun and spruce up their property and have plants that last all spring, summer, and fall. And here are all the dark colored, dark purples, and also the offspring of that wizard, the offspring of that Saturn's rings that I showed you. These are all seeds from that plant that I manually pollinated, and they're all coming in. Interesting colorations, but they will all become Saturn's rings. And I have more seeds. I'm going to try to get more seeds. There's another small one, but there's a little mosaic. That's a Christmas candy seed. That's a Christmas candy. A little slow. Some of these are real slow. They're interesting. Got some weird, not weird, I want to say weird, but just out of the ordinary Coleus here, my bird friends. So I put everything over here on top and see how these do, because I've had them down on the other side with less light, and they seem to be growing very slow. So I'm saying to myself, maybe they need a little more light. So let's move things around, experiment, and see how they go. So I know Saturn's rings like sun. You can, once you have a fully mature Coleus, you can keep them in full sun, but you have to make sure you water them regularly. Like this massive Saturn that I grew here, this I kept in full sun, but I had to feed it every 10 days, 7 days with the Miracle Grow, and I had to water it twice a day, sometimes in the summer. And I did move it around sometimes in the shade areas on those really harsh summer days. But anyway, back to the Kongs here, the Jade Kong, the Jade Kongs. You can see I trimmed, these are all trimmed. And you can see all that growth coming in on the bottom here. So these are pretty hardy, fast growers. So I know trimming, as much as it hurts, I know the benefits, especially on these, because they're really aggressive. I can see the growth coming in, and believe me, trimming is the way to do it. It really stinks at first, folks. It really does, cutting them in the beginning, but believe you me, that is the way to get your Coleus to grow on the bottom and fill in. So pick a height. Once it's a mature plant, pick a height, keep trimming the tops, and your undergrowth will follow, and you'll have a big, full Coleus before you know it. All right, here's one of my prizes. This is for me, and it's growing. It's getting bigger. I got to move it around a little bit. I got to bring this outside and give it some, feed it, get it outside. But these do well. I do this every year. I do pick out 3 in a big. Again, this is that big new pot I bought, and this is going to be a fantastic Coleus. I was a little concerned that this that these may grow too fast over here, so we got to be careful. Trim some of these leaves, anything that's going to get in the way with this. Okay, so I as I mentioned, I got these 8 small, they look actually large here, hanging baskets, and because I have so many of these fairway mosaics and Christmas candies, I'm going to put one in each of these, and I'm just going to plant 2 Coleus in these pots because these are they're about 6 inches. I don't even think they're 6 inches, which is fine. I think they'll do fine. I think I'll sell them. And so what we're going to do is we just popped out one of these, and you can see the root system's pretty heavy duty on this, so these will be real easy to separate. So let's do that now. Okay, so as you can see, I already put some shake and feed in each, and then we'll kind of mix that in once we plant our Coleus. So again, fairway mosaic, I have 2 to a pot. You can see the roots, you're not hurting anything. See how easy they separate? You may feel roots tear, don't worry. Gently place the one down. These are they're very, very hardy, so it takes a lot to really damage them. I usually keep an empty tin pot nearby, and what I like about these is they don't have like pre-drawn holes where the hangers go, so I'm basically I could really plant these anywhere. Just going to take a little bit out here, and of course we have it's already round, so it kind of fits perfect in here. And what I do a lot of times, I'll just kind of do that instead, and then add some of the mix around. And like Bob Ross says, there's really no mistakes, whether it's crooked or not. It's gonna correct itself anyway once it's in and it starts growing towards the sun. So we got the one done, and let's do the second. And this is a lot of fun. It's relaxing. It's a really nice day. And again, I live about 2 blocks from the ocean, so I'm getting I always call it an ocean breeze. So every breeze is an ocean breeze when it's coming from the east. And a lot of times at night, it's beautiful. I can hear the ocean. You can smell the ocean. I love it. But it's an overcast day. It's weird. I put a sweatshirt on because it's 75, but the wind chill, it probably feels more like 60, 65. But the plants are not curling up or anything. They're not trying to protect themselves. So it's actually more me than anything. So all right, so here we go. And then water. Don't saturate. Let me get the water can. I'll just give you an idea. Actually, I'm not going to water because I need to plant another one. So after I'm going to put a second one in, I'll show you. We'll put a second one here, and we're going to trim. Make sure that they don't. I'm going to try to get a Coleus. I have yet to really decide which other one to put here. Once we get them in, then we're going to decide, hey, we need to trim this. This is going to need to go anyway. Trim this and make sure that one doesn't dominate the other, and we'll keep maintaining it until it's full and it's on its own. But beautiful. And I can argue I may put two mosaics in one. Maybe one that's slightly different color. That's up to me. That's up to you. You can just, depends on what kind of Coleus you're growing. So beautiful. I have a couple of larger hanging baskets. I don't think I'll be putting any of my jitters in these. I really haven't decided, but I do have 8 total 8 to do here. So but these will really these will be beautiful. And stay tuned. Okay. I believe we're starting to get a little rain here, but that's all right. We're under the awning. Okay, so I did a few, and I did lie, a little small fib. I did put a little jitters in here. I had one on the table, and it just kind of talked to me. It says, hey, don't forget me. So these are going to be really beautiful. I'm glad I got these. I've never really got the smaller, never really gotten the smaller hanging baskets. And you can see I put one on already. I want to show you how quick these are. They have like a little fake, fake rope. And again, it doesn't matter. They just clip on. So you can really choose where you want the handle to go. Move it around because of the leaves. And they kind of just snap in. I mean, they're delicate, but I think they'll do the job. What a wonderful idea. Here we go. Okay. There's another one. We'll put one in here. Here. And over here. And this one I did double. I did two different colorations, and let's give them some water. It has like an upside down nozzle, so I can water the top easily. I'm going to give it a shot, just enough to cover the top. I don't moisten the soil because it makes it kind of messy, messier than it is. So we'll give them a good drink, and I may give them one in a little while, let it soak through, make sure all of it, you can see the water's running through. These already have good drainage on the bottom. So fantastic. And stay tuned, I will be shooting another video with my other pots, but this is just apply it to any kind of pot, whether it's something like this, a small pot, a large pot. You may have questions on how many Coleus can I fit in a, if you have a 16-inch pot, you could put 4 Coleus together. I wouldn't put more than that. 16 or 20, and nobody says you have to put a lot of Coleus in. One thing you don't want to do is take a big pot and put a little Coleus in the middle, because then it's going to overwhelm. The Coleus may not grow because the roots are just going to be just too much soil, and you want to make yourself an arrangement like that. So, all right, so we got to put some handle on here, but we'll get these together, and I'll shoot a final video. And obviously you'll know this when you see this video. And they say time travel is impossible. We'll shoot a video when we're done of all these hanging baskets. So stay tuned. Okay, so we are done for today. I did these 8 hanging baskets. Yeah, I got a little Kong. Again, I used the mosaic in each one, and I decided to use one of those Saturn rings and a mosaic. I think that'll look nice. And I did pot this. So stay tuned and watch as these grow. They're going to fill out really quickly. Trimming really, when you trim your Coleus, it really promotes, it really jumpstarts the growth on the bottom, especially if you're just heading into warm weather. Like here in New Jersey, it's been real stubborn. We got a couple of warm days, real warm days, and it's kind of chilly. Like today, it got very overcast and raw all of a sudden, so I packed it in. But I did a lot today. Again, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to put the heater on just yet. Later on, I like to keep it 70. I do put the heater on. I think it's going to be in the mid-50s tonight, so I will put the heater on and get everything up to like 85 in here. I like to get everything nice and warm, all the soil nice and warm. There's no frost danger, but I just like to keep them nice and warm. I like to be as uniform as possible. I don't want them back and forth, rubber band, cold, hot, cold, hot. So, lots more. I got a lot of work ahead of me still. I never thought I was consider it as work, really. It isn't. It is relaxing. I think I get myself more worked up and stressed out because I want to make sure I'm ready for the farmer's market. But I know there's that little voice in the back of my head saying, dude, relax, bro. You got this. You still have another month. You've been doing this 10 years. And you're so hard on yourself. And I am. I'm just very critical of myself. And that's what keeps me going. So I put a little dent in these mosaics. And I'm sure I'll find homes for these. These will be mostly potted, and I'll throw a couple in with the duds, the grab bag. And I decided to leave these in trays because I'm gonna do some potting tomorrow. Obviously I did show you guys how to do the hanging baskets, so just apply it to pots. But again, I have some of these. I have the little pastel pots. There's one hanging basket that the handle broke, so I'm going to see what I'm going to do with that. I might just make it a pot. And I do have some of the ovals around here somewhere. Here we are. Got some ovals. And that's it. I have a lot of these 6-inch nursery pots, and I did use these for the wizards. So I may just pot a few and sell them like this. Put one and let it grow. Sometimes I overdo it with too much variety. I feel like I have to have a lot of variety, but fish are here. So I love these. I really wish I can find them again. And again, folks, I over the years, when I used to be able to order direct online from Dollar General, I did order 250 one year, and they lasted almost 2 years. I sold a lot of them, maybe 3. Darth Vader's, and these are going to really start to kick in. They already are. You don't notice until if I look back at videos from a few weeks ago and I look at this when I potted it, or even these, they have grown a lot. And these are Rosy Dawn. When you get your Rosy Dawn plants, a lot of times they suggest give them a haircut. I did that with this one. And there are the Saturn's rings. They're little seedlings. There's a campfire. I did save that label, so I did give it they suggest giving them a haircut, and that'll stimulate the undergrowth. Really, really nice color here, huh? See how these do? Fantastic. Nice assortment. Just a nice array of color. And again, the window box planters. And you've seen these. And this one here. This is really going to fill out. So it has grown. Just slow. And there's another hanging basket. I'm gonna leave these here, but I will bring them in tonight. Even though it's gonna be in the mid 50s, don't want to shock them because this one actually has been potted for a week or so, but I'm still going to bring it in the greenhouse. And there's another one of those, so you can actually see the difference. And another one. Again, I'm going to bring this inside, but it's been hanging here since I potted it. And I got my, I think that's Hank. And this will fill out really fast. Okay, everybody. I left my hat inside, my signature hat. I keep getting alerts on my cell phone that I'm in here because I have my little internet camera and timer. So as you can see, we got our thermostat in the back. I like to keep track of that, of the temperature and so forth here. And again, I have the heater on my app also, so I can schedule it to go on and off, or sometimes I'll keep an eye on it. And, but I like to keep it at 85 degrees overnight. So all right, so more to come here. Jim's Holiest of Coleus, more potting to come. Any questions on how to pot or any other Coleus related, I'm here for you this season. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. There'll be more to come here. Jim's Holiest of Coleus.